Hello, I'm Crispin and welcome to Poker Room Review, your guide for live poker rooms all across the world. In each episode, we review a live poker venue, discussing the important things you need to know when planning your next poker destination. For each venue, we review a range of characteristics, including location and access, game options, service and experience, and Rake and Rewards. We also discuss the rules, quirks, and issues relating to each location. Today, we're in the Sky City Casino, Adelaide, Australia. Not to be confused with Star City, which is a different company. This one really surprised us and is perhaps the most unusual poker room in the whole country. Adelaide is not normally thought of as a major poker destination, even domestically, and yet it seems to offer quite a bit with special offerings and unique rules not commonly seen anywhere else. We've flown to Australia's festival state to play, so let's get into it. Category 1, location and access. Adelaide is not normally on top of anyone's list for Australia's travel destinations, poker or otherwise. Not because it's a bad place, far from it, but simply because it's far from the more commonly travelled to locations on the east and west coast of the continent. And yet this forgotten reputation is really unfair. Known famously as the city of churches, Adelaide is definitely preserved more of its heritage buildings, architecture and parks than any other Australian city by far. With great weather, a world-famous wine region, absolutely stunning public gardens, this is generally a great place to be. Moreover, the city's sole casino, Sky City, is in the most central of central locations, right between the primary central train station and the major bus interchange. Like many buildings, the casino has a pleasant Federation-style decor and windows with natural light. You need to register your membership, which is free, and welcome gifts and promotions are offered at signing up. There's also a secure cloakroom if you show up with bags or luggage. The poker room is upstairs adjacent to the sports bar. While quiet during the week, the area really packs out on weekends. The room itself has about 12 tables available and enough staff to keep them running as they get up. Coming in from the airport takes around 20 minutes and only costs around $5 on the bus. Situated next to South Australia's major government buildings, including Parliament and Government House, the location could not be more excellent, perhaps even to an unseemly degree given we're talking about a casino. For location and access, 4.5 stars. Category 2, game options. So in terms of game options, the poker room has one drawback which we'll explain up front. The room operates with limited hours, and what's more, it seems to change each day. Roughly speaking, the cash games open from 7 p.m. during the week, 5 p.m. on Friday, and 12 p.m. on Saturday. Meanwhile, the poker room is closed all day, Sunday and Monday. I don't personally understand the logic behind these restrictions, save perhaps the extra wages paid to dealers on Sunday, because there does seem to be adequate demand in keeping them running. That said, beyond this, things are pretty good. There's a $2 game with a $50 to $300 buy-in, and a $2 $5 game with a buy-in of $150 to $800 that will tend to get up as well. PLO is available, but if it gets up, it's only going to be late on a Friday or Saturday. Generally, only Hold'em is running most of the time. There are also 2 tournaments each week, a $200 10K guarantee on Tuesday and a $100 freeze out on Thursday. With its multiple stake levels and low buy-in tournaments, there's something there for most casual players. The limited hours and days is a drawback, however, and it would be good to see that somewhat expanded. Still, it's much better than one might expect. For game options at Star City Adelaide, 3 stars. 3, service and experience. So again, this one is really curious. The furniture, upholstery and setting is just excellent. And there's also water and soda drinks available complimentary. Moreover, table service is available with a reasonably priced menu for poker players to be delivered to your table by the restaurant downstairs. Unusually for post-pandemic Australia, you're also able to eat food at the table as you play. There are no chip runners, but there is a cash desk right there next to the poker room, which seems to only service poker players, so you get your chips fairly quick and easy. Floor staff are pretty efficient and helpful, and you generally don't have to wait long for a table. Dealers are friendly, fast, and do their best. However, it must be said, there are some pretty wild mistakes happening at the Adelaide poker room, which I don't normally like to mention, but some were out there and hurt the game. There was one where I won a hand and ended up with less money than when I started the hand.
What's the word?
The dealer insisted they didn't make an error and ultimately it had to go to the cameras for review. Thankfully, I was on the right side and the chips were returned and the dealer was really apologetic about it. But my God, was that a doozy. There was another arguably even bigger issue when another player who was not a recreational put out a bet that qualified as a rage in a large plot without saying anything. However, the dealer accepted it as a call, fudging the rules and doing so to the detriment of other players in the hand. Now, I'm really generous with recreational players making mistakes like that, but this was not that kind of situation. The player definitely knew what they were doing, and this gave off favoritism vibes, which is not acceptable. I don't want to overhype this because these were isolated cases, but it does kind of stand out a bit. The only other nitpick I have is that when the room gets busy, for some reason the poker area gets really warm, quite hot, which is the opposite problem that many rooms seem to have. You'll be in there just wearing a t-shirt and still sweating away. Beyond this though, the setting, service and experience is all great. Definitely enjoyed my time there. For service and experience, 3 stars. 4, Rake and Rewards. Okay, so this is where things get a bit unusual by Australian standards. On the negative side, Rake is worse here even than most Australian poker rooms. $2 is 10% capped at $17 and the $2 $5 is capped at $22. Frustratingly, this is more than they actually advertise, and this misleading advertising is a serious concern, but it is to pay for things that are unusually positive for Australia. This is because Sky City Adelaide is probably the only poker room left in the country to offer a Royal Flush jackpot. You win 100% of the jackpot if you flop a Royal Flush, but you still get 20% if you turn it and 10% if you get it on the river. Also, if you have a qualifying hand pre-flop and everyone else folds, you can still show your cards and get a flop to see if you win the jackpot. Moreover, the poker room offers a decent $250 high hand bonus that runs only during weekdays. These things are great and can attract new people to the game, but unfortunately the house charges extra to fund this and is not upfront about it like I mentioned. This is something that is unacceptable and should not be allowed. So while I think these jackpots are really welcome, the fact that the advertising published by the casino is false and misleading is unacceptable and should be penalised. For Rake and Rewards, 1 star. Rules and quirks. Sky City Adelaide has one truly unique rule, actually 2, that can change the game in a huge way. But first, I've published a new book on Kindle called Stoic: How to Control Tilt and Make Good Decisions. I share 200 Stoic maxims from my private notepad, applying Stoic philosophy directly to poker. Obviously, I'm biased, but honestly, this has saved me more big blinds than literally any other product. So if you'd like to improve your mental game and support this channel, see the link below. But back to Sky City Adelaide. Most rules are pretty standard, except for a couple of things. Uniquely in Australia, at Sky City Adelaide, you are permitted to line straddle all the way to the button, meaning that if someone puts out an under the gun straddle in, say, for $10 in a 2-5 game, under the gun +1 can put out $20, then $40, $80, and so on. This kind of thing can often happen. It really spices up the game when it does. The other rule that's unique to Adelaide is one that I still question and really don't like. If someone puts out a bet and the person behind them puts in less, say they went to limp and weren't paying attention to the action, well, most places around the world, that person can either fold their cards and lose the money they've put in, or put in the extra money to make up a call. Not so at Sky City. So long as the money put out by the player is less than 50% of the initial raise, they can still take their money back. In other words, they can bet out of turn and not get penalized for it in any way. This strikes me as just inappropriate. I don't know why they're doing this. I mean, I guess to be kind to recreational players, which is something that I generally support, but overall it's bad for the game. Let's be real. Honestly though, I think that Sky City Adelaide really overperforms against expectation, but also lets itself down with limited hours. dealers playing loose and fast with the rules, but in an inconsistent way, and the house not being upfront with its advertising. And yet, honestly, this place has the makings of a truly great poker room, something that could easily shine in future. It just needs to tighten up the management and probity a bit. Finally, I want to shine a light on the tourist draw here in Adelaide, which absolutely blew us away, and no doubt you've never heard of it. Next time you're in Adelaide, head down to Port Adelaide and visit the world's largest clipper ship. It's a restoration project of an old sailing vessel that brought new settlers all the way from London to Australia. The community-led initiative saw the ship brought all the way from its graveyard in Glasgow down to a wharf in Adelaide, and is this incredible restoration project. We were taken on a personal guided tour and got onto the ship itself. It's a must-see for anyone interested in maritime history, and it costs us just $15 each for a personalized tour. Link in the description. Oh, and just one other thing. I want to mention an incredible offer at the internal restaurant that exists at the Central Cafe internal to the casino. Now the problem is it's only available Monday and Tuesday. You'll note that Monday the poker room is not open, but we had it on Tuesday before the game. For $19.95, they have this mixed grill that is just amazing. It's got steak, beef, seafood, bacon, chips, everything. It's just, by Australian standards, that is crazy cheap, and it was really well cooked. I don't know, you're not going to get a better deal like that in an Australian casino.
Quick edit. At the time of release, the mixed grill is no longer available. But there seems to be other $19.90 deals on Monday and Tuesday. Just check out their promotions. I hope they continue this because it is so worthwhile.
Anyhow, I do want to give Sky City Adelaide a higher overall score because in my gut, I feel it deserves it. But the rake level, the deceptive nature of how it's taken, it knocks it down a ton. So for Sky City Adelaide, 2.5 stars. We review new poker rooms regularly, so if you found value in this content, please hit the like and subscribe buttons because that's the only way YouTube will know this is the case. Also, please, if you have access to any Facebook groups or poker forums, please consider sharing this video because getting more views is the only way we can create more content. In the meantime, have you been to Sky City Adelaide? If so, what did you think? Is there anything I've missed or recommendations you'd like to include? I'm sure everyone would appreciate a comment down below. If you'd like to check out more reviews, you can do so right now. Otherwise, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.